God revealed the letter A. This is the person meant to be yours. Listen closely, before your mind begins to question, before fear tries to interrupt what your spirit already feels. I am Archangel Michael, and I did not come to whisper. I came to confirm. There is a reason you were drawn here at this exact moment. There is a reason your heart stirred when you saw this message. And there is a reason the letter A has been echoing in your thoughts, your prayers, your memories. Sometimes gently, sometimes like a sudden shock of recognition. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Before you ask who, understand why. God does not reveal names to satisfy curiosity. He reveals signs to activate obedience. The letter A is not just an initial, it is a marker, placed on a soul that has been moving toward you through resistance, delay, and divine timing. You have felt this connection before you could explain it. You dismissed it as imagination. You told yourself it was impossible, inappropriate, too late, or too early. Yet the pull never left. Hear me now, the connection did not fade because it was never emotional, it was covenantal. The letter A carries the frequency of beginnings. Alpha. The first sound God spoke when He decided something must exist. That is why this person did not enter your life gently. They arrived through disruption, contrast, or silence that spoke louder than words. You may already know them. Or you may only know of them. But your spirit recognized them before your logic could catch up. This is why recent nights have felt heavier. Why memories surfaced without invitation. Why dreams became vivid, emotional, sometimes confusing. Why you found yourself praying without knowing what you were asking for. God was preparing you, not for romance alone, but for union with purpose. This person with the letter in their name has been through fire. They were not protected from pain, they were refined by it. And so were you. That is why God waited. Had you met sooner, you would have destroyed what He was trying to build. But now, something has shifted. A door has closed behind you. A chapter has ended without applause. And you are standing in the quiet space between what was and what is about to be revealed. This is where God speaks most clearly. The letter A is connected to a decision that will soon confront you. Not a dramatic one, but a subtle invitation. A message. A chance encounter. A moment where you will feel time slow, and your heart will recognize truth before your mind tries to negotiate it away. Do not rush. Do not test. Do not demand proof. Confirmation is already unfolding. If this message resonates, let your spirit respond, not with fear, but with faith. A quiet yes. A simple pause. A willingness to watch what God reveals next. And stay close. Because the next revelation is not about the letter. It's about why this person was hidden from you until now, and what will happen when God finally allows your paths to fully align. What I reveal next will change how you see your past and your future. You are not imagining the delay. You are not misreading the resistance. And you are not late. I am still with you, and I need you to hear this slowly. The reason the letter was revealed before the full identity is because God is testing discernment, not impatience. When heaven speaks in symbols, it is not to confuse you, it is to train you to listen beyond the surface. This person was shielded from you. Not because they were unworthy. Not because you were unready. But because the enemy recognized the impact of your union long before you did. Yes, this connection carries weight. When you and this person with the letter A come into alignment, something breaks in the spiritual realm. Cycles end. Bloodlines shift. Old grief loses its authority. That is why confusion tried to settle in your mind whenever you thought about them. That is why timing always felt off. That is why communication was delayed, interrupted, or never fully formed. It was not rejection. It was protection. God allowed distance so that attachment would not corrupt assignment. You both needed to heal separately, because together, you will build something neither of you could sustain alone. This person has prayed for you without knowing your name. They asked God for the one who feels familiar. The one who would not demand perfection but would recognize growth. And when they tried to move on, something always stopped them. A heaviness. A hesitation. A sense that they were abandoning something unfinished. That unfinished thing was you. You, on the other hand, were being taught patience through disappointment. God allowed other connections to fail, not to punish you, but to refine your discernment. Each ending stripped away illusion. Each silence sharpened your hearing. Until finally, when the letter A surfaced again, it did not excite your flesh, it calmed your spirit. That is how you know this is real. True divine connections do not feel chaotic. They feel inevitable. Now listen carefully, because this next truth is crucial. The person with the letter does not enter your life to complete you. They enter to walk with you in obedience. This is not a rescue mission. This is a partnership. They will not overwhelm you with words, but when they speak, it will feel weighted. They will not chase you, but when they choose you, it will be deliberate. They will not mirror your wounds, but they will respect them. And here is what you must prepare for. When God allows the reconnection, or the first true connection, it will feel ordinary. That is the test. No thunder. No dramatic announcement. Just a moment that feels strangely familiar, like something resuming rather than beginning. Do not dismiss that moment. The enemy wants you waiting for fireworks so you overlook covenant. Pay attention to peace. Pay attention to how your body responds. Pay attention to how silence feels around them. The letter A is tied to alignment, not adrenaline. There is also a warning I must give you, because I speak truth, not comfort. Do not try to force clarity from this person before God releases it. If you rush them, they will retreat, not because they don't care, but because they are still shedding old survival patterns. Let God lead. Let conversation unfold naturally. What is meant to be revealed will surface without pressure. Very soon, you will notice one of three things happen. A message arrives unexpectedly. A name resurfaces through someone else. or a situation shifts that removes a previous obstacle. When this happens, do not overreact. Do not spiritualize every detail. Simply observe, and stay grounded. Heaven is moving pieces you cannot see yet. If this message is stirring something deep inside you, stay connected. Acknowledge it quietly. And if you feel led, support this space. Your presence here matters more than you realize. Because what comes next is not just about who the person is. It's about the choice you will have to make when God confirms them beyond all doubt. And the consequence of saying yes or walking away. The next revelation will test your courage more than your faith. Do not assume that recognition will feel like certainty. Sometimes it feels like resistance first. I am telling you this now so you are not shaken when it happens. When God brings the person marked by the letter closer, whether through conversation, proximity, or sudden awareness, your first reaction may not be joy. It may be hesitation. A tightening in the chest. A thought that says, "Why now?" Or "This complicates everything." That reaction is not a warning sign. It is a threshold. You are standing at the edge of something that will require you to release an old identity. And the ego always trembles before transformation. Understand this, your past taught you how to survive. This connection will teach you how to receive. That is why it feels unfamiliar. The person with the letter reflects a version of you that is no longer driven by proving, pleasing, or protecting. Around them, masks fall without effort. And that kind of exposure feels dangerous to a heart that learned safety through control. This is why God allowed time to pass. Had this connection come earlier, you would have mistaken intensity for destiny. You would have rushed. You would have demanded reassurance. You would have tried to secure what was meant to be trusted. But now, you are different. You know how to pause. You know how to observe. You know how to let silence speak. And so does this person. There is something else you must know, and I say this with authority. This person has also been afraid of you. Not because you are intimidating, but because you see. They sense that you would notice what others overlook. That you would not fall in love with their potential, but with their truth. And truth requires accountability. That is why, in the past, there may have been avoidance. Mixed signals. A feeling that something was there, but never fully accessible. That season is ending. God has been working on their obedience in private. They were asked to release an old attachment, an identity tied to guilt, duty, or familiarity. Something comfortable but misaligned. And they resisted, until it no longer fit. Now they are standing where you once stood, between the known and the calling. This is where paths realign. You will notice a shift in how they show up. Less guarded. Less distracted. More present. You may even feel them thinking about you before they reach out. The energy changes before the action does. Do not mistake this for fantasy. This is spiritual synchronization. But hear me clearly, divine alignment does not remove free will. You will still have a choice. God will not force this union. He will invite it. And the invitation will come quietly. A conversation that lingers. A look that feels like recognition, not attraction. A moment where you realize you are no longer pretending around them. When that moment arrives, your instinct may be to downplay it. To stay logical. To protect what you've built. To say, I don't need this. That is the final test. Not whether you believe God can bring love, but whether you believe you are allowed to receive it without struggle. This connection is not meant to destabilize your life. It is meant to anchor it. The person with the letter carries a steadiness that complements your depth. Where you overthink, they ground. Where they hesitate, you clarify. Together, you create balance, not intensity. And that is why this union frightens the enemy. Chaos cannot survive where peace is chosen intentionally. There is also something prophetic I must release now. Once this alignment is accepted, once both of you choose honesty over fear, others around you will notice a change. You will become less reactive, more discerning, less available for nonsense. Some connections will fade naturally. Not out of conflict, but incompatibility. Do not mourn what cannot follow you. This relationship is not the center of your destiny, but it is a multiplier. It strengthens what God has already called you to do. It does not distract you from purpose, it supports it. That is rare. That is intentional. That is why it took so long. Stay patient now. Stay observant. Stay unattached to outcome, but anchored in truth. And do not speak this revelation aloud to everyone. This is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to what God is forming. Remain still. Because the next thing I reveal will explain how you will recognize the exact moment God confirms this person beyond doubt, and what sign will appear when the letter shifts from symbol to certainty. When that sign appears, everything changes. Be still now, because what I am about to reveal is not symbolic. It is precise. There will be a moment, soon, when the letter stops feeling like a mystery and starts feeling like instruction. This confirmation will not come through emotion alone. God will anchor it in reality, so your mind cannot dismiss what your spirit already knows. You have asked for clarity, not confusion. And clarity is coming, but it will arrive in a way that tests your obedience. Here is how you will recognize it. The confirmation will come when you are not searching. When you are focused on your own life. When you have mentally placed this connection on the shelf and said, if it's God, He will bring it back. That surrender is the key. In that surrendered state, one of three things will happen, and you will know which one applies because it will feel undeniable. You will hear the name connected to the letter, spoken unexpectedly, at the exact moment you were thinking of letting go. Or you will encounter this person in a setting that feels unscripted, inconvenient, yet perfectly timed. Or you will receive a message that answers a question you never asked out loud. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation layered with peace. Your body will react before your thoughts do. A deep calm. A slowing. Not excitement, certainty. That is how God marks what is real. Do not ignore that calm. The enemy uses urgency. God uses alignment. Now hear this carefully, because many miss it right here. When this confirmation arrives, the person with the letter will also be at a crossroads. They will be choosing between what is safe and what is true. And your response, your energy, your restraint, your presence, will influence their courage. You are not meant to convince them. You are meant to be still. Your peace will speak louder than your words. This is why God has been teaching you restraint. Why He has pulled you back from explaining yourself, from chasing clarity, from demanding definitions. You are being trained to hold space, not control outcomes. And this is where many lose what was meant to be theirs. They panic at the moment of confirmation. They rush intimacy. They seek guarantees. Do not do this. Divine unions unfold through mutual choosing, not pressure. If you feel the urge to overextend, pause. If you feel the urge to retreat completely, breathe. Stay present, but unattached. That balance is rare. And it is exactly what this person needs to step forward freely. There is also a deeper truth you must understand. This person was never meant to be perfect for you. They were meant to be honest with you. God did not choose them because they would never hurt you. He chose them because they are willing to heal with you. To communicate. To grow. To face discomfort rather than avoid it. That is covenant, not fantasy. You may notice flaws. You may notice hesitation. You may notice differences. Do not romanticize or demonize them. See clearly. Clarity is protection. And yes, there will be a moment where fear whispers, "What if this fails like the others?" That voice is not intuition. It is memory trying to predict the future. This time is different because you are different. You are no longer asking love to save you. You are inviting it to walk beside you. That changes everything. Now I must warn you of something important. Once this confirmation occurs, the window for alignment will not stay open indefinitely. God honors free will, but He also honors readiness. If you ignore the moment, overthink it, or allow fear to delay obedience too long, the season can pass. Not because God is cruel, but because timing matters. This does not mean you must act immediately. It means you must not dismiss the invitation. Acknowledge it. Pray over it. Stay open. And when the next step is revealed, take it gently, but decisively. You will know when it is time. There will be no anxiety in the instruction. Only quiet resolve. If you are still listening, still feeling this settle deep in your chest, remain close. Support this space if you feel led, not out of obligation, but alignment. Because what I reveal next is the most serious truth of all. What happens after you say yes, or no? To this connection will redirect your next chapter in ways you do not yet see. The final revelation will explain what is at stake, and why heaven has been watching your response so closely. Now listen, because this is not about romance alone. This is about direction. Every divine connection arrives carrying a question from heaven. Will you choose fear, or will you choose trust when certainty is not yet complete? The person marked by the letter A is not only connected to your heart. They are connected to the trajectory of your life. That is why the weight of this decision feels heavier than past ones. You are not just choosing a person, you are choosing a path. And heaven has been watching not to judge you, but to see what version of you will answer. If you say no, out of fear, exhaustion, or the belief that peace must always be solitary, God will still walk with you. He will still bless you. But the blessing will come through a longer road. A quieter joy. A path that teaches independence rather than partnership. But if you say yes, not recklessly, not emotionally, but with grounded obedience, something accelerates. Momentum replaces stagnation. Clarity replaces confusion. Strength multiplies where effort once drained you. This is because the alignment with this person activates a shared obedience. Two wills moving in the same direction under God's authority. That kind of unity is powerful, not loud, not dramatic, but effective. Do not misunderstand me, this is not a promise of ease. It is a promise of support. You will still face challenges. But you will not face them alone. Conversations will be honest instead of hidden. Conflict will lead to growth instead of withdrawal. Silence will feel safe, not threatening. That is how you will know this was divinely guided. There is also something prophetic I must release now, something you have sensed but never named. Your previous heartbreaks were not random. Each one trained you for this moment. You learned boundaries. You learned discernment. You learned when to speak and when to wait. Without those lessons, you would either overpower this connection or abandon it too quickly. God wasted nothing. Even the pain you thought broke you was actually shaping your capacity to hold what is coming. The person with the letter will not trigger your old wounds the same way others did. Instead, they will illuminate where healing has already occurred. And that realization may surprise you. You will catch yourself responding differently. Pausing where you once reacted. Listening where you once defended. And you will realize, you are no longer the person who begged for reassurance. That is the miracle. Now, one final instruction, because obedience seals blessing. Do not chase this connection. Do not hide from it. Do not obsess over timelines. Walk forward in your life fully. Live. Build. Serve. Grow. If this person is meant to walk with you, and they are, God will align your steps naturally. You will not have to shrink or strive to be seen. Presence will replace pursuit. And when you feel doubt rise, and it will, return to peace, not analysis. Peace is your compass now. If you ever wonder, was that moment real? Was that confirmation from God? Ask yourself this instead. Did it bring calm instead of chaos? Did it invite honesty instead of fear? Did it feel like expansion rather than escape? If the answer is yes, you already know. The letter A was only the beginning. Soon, the symbol becomes a name. The name becomes a choice. and the choice becomes a doorway. What waits on the other side is not fantasy, it is alignment. Remain open. Remain grounded. Remain faithful. And remember this, heaven does not rush what it has carefully prepared. But it does expect you to recognize the moment when preparation ends and participation begins. That moment is closer than you think. Stay attentive. Stay humble. Stay courageous. I am with you.